Hey everyone, what's going on? This is Big Lou, and welcome to From the Source. Today, I've got an old country soul. I mean, he's got a lot of history in the music industry. His music is country with a new age twist, something that is certainly his own as well. There's a little bit of history behind this album, how it became about, and we'll get into that in the interview. But I would like to welcome Mr. Rick Scott. How are you today, Rick?
Hey, Big Lou, how are you, sir?
I'm excited and happy to be here with you, and I'm just ready.
Yeah, this is great, man. Thank you.
So, Rick, first of all, I want to talk about what's going on Friday night. If you wanted to give a little information on what's happening Friday night.
Friday night, we are having a little get-together on Facebook, on the Rick Scott group on Facebook. It's a public group there. Anybody can come join, and we sure encourage that. And we are doing an album release live in the group. It's going to be for 2 hours, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, and everybody's invited, man. Just come on and bring your friends. We're going to have fun.
And make sure people understand that, you know what, I just want to say, I want to let the people understand that this is live Q&A, and if you're there, try to be respectful. I mean, you know, because I've seen this blow out of proportion, but I would assume that Rick Scott's fans are you know, good-headed people, so I wouldn't presume it would happen. So I'm excited. I'll be there. We just dropped.
Wonderful. Thanks.
You know, you're welcome. We just dropped your album about an hour ago here on Fat Cat Radio, and so
yeah, I caught some of that. Thanks, man.
Hey, no problem, man. And you know,
you definitely have the exclusive because we just finished the mastering yesterday late afternoon, so you got the first deal, man.
I'm happy about that too. It makes it fills my heart. So, you know, you've got this great album, and there's a little bit of a story behind it. I guess you had remained idle for a little while, and you had somebody who's like, you know what, you need to do an album. You want to talk about that?
Well, man, I've been in the music business a lot of years, man, close to 40 years, and I was always the behind-the-scenes guy. I started out as a musician, drummer, and that led me to working with some top bands in the nation, and I was on the road for years. And during that time, I was writing songs with the artists and things like that, so I got into publishing songs and working for record labels and publishing companies and things like that. So one thing led to another, man, so I was just kind of behind the curtain all these years doing that. Well, I had a friend who's an engineer, songwriter, producer. His name is Nick Scott Petta, no relation, a dear friend of mine of 30 years. And he contacted me last year and said, hey, man, why don't you do an album? You know, it's singer-songwriter. You write a lot of songs for other artists. Why don't you do one for you?
So, I think it was about time, too. I think it was about time. I mean, and you...
I don't know. I think I've gotten on in years too much, man, to be starting a brand-new career. But I'll tell you, it has certainly rejuvenated our lives.
You know, Rick, I got to say, the album was stellar. It was from start to finish. You had great riffs, amazing lyrics. I mean, you know, you put a lot of heart.
Some of those songs, Lou, go back 35 years.
Wow,
you know, they really do. Why Lady Why was a huge smash for the group Alabama, and I played drums with them for a few years, and that was a big record. It went #1 in the nation, and the song "When I'm Gray" was recorded by Johnny Cash. Well, I used to write for his publishing company, and I was privileged to be a part of his family and the group there at the publishing company, House of Cash. But he cut a couple of my songs, and matter of fact, he cut "When I'm Gray" 35 years ago, and he cut the song called "Tennessee," which happens to be on the new album by John that they released last year that debuted #1 around the world. That LP is Out Among the Stars, Johnny Cash, and I have the song "Tennessee" is on that. Well, the story is, and I know it for a fact because I was there, 35 years ago, John recorded both of those songs in a single morning, and I was there in the studio when it happened, and nothing happened with those songs until now.
You know, you can actually hear some essence of some old school artists, especially Johnny Cash in a couple of the tracks in the beginning. You know, and then I think that you flared.
Well, I wrote the song "Big John." That's the first track on the album, and it's a tribute to John, and you know, having time around him and his family, and it was just a wonderful thing, man. So I owe John a lot, man. He's a great guy, and he believed in my writing, and so I was a kid, man. I was a kid.
Yeah.
So, he took me under his wing, and here we go. And the record is absolutely doing great, Big John. It's actually our first single off the album.
Now, the name of the album was what? Hot Burning Coals?
Yes, the name of the album is Hot Burning Coals, and it is also that particular song, the royalties and things like that. We are donating 25% of sales and royalties to what is called Children's Burial Fund.
Oh,
and it is a fund set up out of Atlanta, Georgia, and they are doing some PSAs with that song in the background. But it's to fund, families who lose their child, and are not prepared for that.
Of course not. Who gets life insurance on a kid?
Well, I mean, you're just not thinking that way when
exactly.
you're 22 years old. You're just not thinking that way.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was a good cause, so we jumped on that, and Hot Burning on the album being singles.
I'm excited too, because you're going to get regular airplay here, and I'm really excited to keep playing you and keep talking.
Wow,
about
we
you.
appreciate that, Lou.
Hey,
thanks, man.
No problem at all. We'll continue to promote you here, but I just wanted to touch base a little bit more on your decision to actually do this album. I mean, did you weighing out the options of spending a life in music and then taking a break and then getting back to this, are you afraid that maybe this might be hindering living? You know what I mean? I mean, do you feel like it's going to change?
Hindering
living.
Living?
Do you think it's going to take away from living, or you actually feel?
Oh, absolutely not. Marilyn, myself and Marilyn, my wife, man, we have just been having a blast.
That's good to hear.
We do a lot of this stuff on our own, and we work really, really hard, long hours, but man, it's a labor of love. I mean, it's just purely a labor of love.
Absolutely. There's nothing.
And
there's
we're
nothing
just having
better
a blast.
than that. There's
That's my way to give back to the industry, to songwriters,
right?
Because I absolutely love songwriters, and I do online stuff with people, one-on-one consultations, and yeah, man, it's all music. It's all music, and me and Marilyn love nothing more than music in our lives, and like a lot of people out there, and we, Lou, are blessed to be able to wake up every day,
absolutely,
and our whole lives is surrounded by the music.
Makes the world go round. And I'm curious here about the beginning. You were a kid. I mean, how did this start? How did this progress? I mean, how old were you when you first started playing some music?
Oh, wow. The history goes way back to like my grandfather, man. And that's like 10 shows. But anyway, my whole family was in the music business one way or another. They were either disc jockeys, or they were songwriters, or they were pickers and grinners. And all of them did fairly well for themselves, So it's none of them were drummers. They were all guitar players or something. But I was the only drummer in the family at the time. There's been others who's followed suit, but I gave my life to drums, man, when I was a young kid. I wasn't in groups at school. I wasn't even in school. I was skipping school to play drums. And my first professional job was at the age of 14. And then I left Ohio. I was in Ohio. Head bruised, and I was 16 years old.
That's the heart of your genre too. I mean, you go out to Tennessee.
Oh, I'm a songwriter, man.
Yeah.
I am a songwriter. I love the musicianship and all that, but I am a songwriter. the two that Johnny Cash recorded. It's actually out on it's a gold album. It came out in 2005. They put out an album by Johnny Cash called The Legend. And When I'm Gray was one of the songs that he had recorded that morning 35 years ago. And this song appears on that project.
Nothing better than having these roots tied into your music today. I mean,
man, I've been Lou, I have been so blessed, man. I've had so many mentors in my life, man. It's just, I can't thank all of them. I just can't. I mean, it's too many to mention.
Right. Throughout the years, you had spent some time in the background too. I mean, you were
a lot of years. Yeah, I produced acts for Warner Brothers and worked with different labels, RCA and Sony, and on the inside,
right?
A&R and.
I've
heard a million songs, man. Believe me.
I bet. And I gotta say, having the personal touch on the bands when they're writing and the musicians when they're writing, having that interaction with them and your perspective, throwing in your 2 cents and stuff like that, I can imagine how fulfilling that aspect of the music industry for you must have been. I can't explain it, man. Here's how it goes with me, Lou. Every song that's ever been given to me, and I say given because they are gifts, right?
And they are dropped to me as gifts from God, and that's the way I feel. And so, I'm kind of the vessel. I'm just a vessel. And it's gonna, like this project right now, this album, it's going to land where it's supposed to land.
Right.
Not by me pushing or shoving it.
Right. It's going to be about the listeners and the progression.
It's about the music, man. Yeah. It's about the song.
Exactly.
It truly is about the music, and let it speak for itself.
Speaking for itself, Rick. I mean, like I said, When I'm Gray. I mean, you know what? That song is going to be a big part of my life and my wife's because, she said...
Well, my producer, Nick Scott Petter, let me tell you a little bit about him, if I may.
Oh, help yourself, man.
This man is 73 years old.
Nice. Still
and
kicking.
He plays... It's me and him doing the album. We had one other guy, Ronnie Stoots, do some background vocals and a little bit of piano. Other than that, the whole album is me and Nick doing everything. Well, Nick plays all the lead parts, all the guitar parts. And he'll probably kill me for saying this. He has 3 fingers on his hand, on his left hand.
Oh, boy.
And he's 73 years old.
Holy cow.
And he not only produced this album, but he did all the engineering and mastering.
Wow.
And we did this whole album in his back bedroom.
Huh.
Literally.
That's amazing.
There was no big recording studio involved at all. You know
what, Rick? There is some serious quality involved in your album. So, I mean, this guy's amazing then.
Well, Nick goes clear back to the Sun Records days. He's worked for a lot of big record labels as well.
Right.
And he's living like 35 miles north of me right now. I live in Jacksonville, and he's up in St. Mary's, Georgia. And, man... we just go in his back room, me, him, and Marilyn, and his wife Lorraine sometimes, and we're just doing it, man. We're just having a ball.
Have you been able to gig with this album yet?
No.
No? I was just curious.
No, but we're planning some things. Man, I don't know about this touring thing. I've done a lot of that in my days. I used to work for Earl Thomas Conley as a drummer. I worked for David Allan Coe as a drummer. I worked for Alabama as a drummer. The list goes on.
Right.
Hank Jr. and Vern Gosdin and all these people. I've been on the road. I know what the road life is.
Right.
So I don't know if I'm crazy about jumping out. I mean, at my age,
I don't blame you.
But I will certainly consider some I guess we would say special gigs.
Yeah, of course.
I like doing songwriter nights, man, where I'm the host. So, I like hosting songwriters,
Yeah, well, you're
get them up there and let them do the stuff.
You're also, you're influencing the next generation of people in the music
I hope
industry.
so. I certainly hope so. I didn't have any luck with my own children. So
right. So you know what? I guess the big question for me to you is what's driving your momentum here? What is it behind
songwriting?
Songwriting
and the love of music. And I'll tell you, I'll be honest, man. It's really cool to have someone like Nick step up after
right.
all these years and say, "Dude, it's your turn."
Huh.
And my wife Marilyn has been saying it forever. Rick, own this. Take control of it. Own it. It's yours. You have earned it.
Hell yeah. Now,
and this is the first time I've ever set out to claim it.
And you're doing
that make sense?
You're doing this with quite an album. So I don't foresee any issues with getting this album here. Making some donations towards with the song "Hot Burning Coals," getting donations for the that.
Yeah, I hope that does really well for the sake of the charity, man. I mean,
right.
It's near and dear to my heart, and so are others. We're involved with other things too with the same project. Band camp and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Half the sales go to that, and I mean, this isn't about making money.
Right.
It's about the causes that are out there that we need to serve to, and hopefully, what you were just stepping on there. I hope that some people are influenced by this and understand. What I love about this, Lou, is I'm 56 years old and I'm a grandfather.
Huh.
And here I am, so I don't want to hear any excuses from 20-year-olds about how shitty it is, crappy it is out here. I'm sorry.
But you know what? They're raised differently today, and I mean...
No, I understand, but I hope that they can listen and they can say, you know what, if that old grandpa can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. And that's, like I said, you're inspiring the young guys, while you're teaching at the school there on UNF.
I'm loving this, man. It is really cool being involved. This is not the first university I've taught at. I love doing it. I've been doing it for about 10 years now.
So, let me ask you, what song out of all these songs, that if you can pick one song that just completely moves you emotionally and just takes you to another place, what song would that be, Rick?
Wow. Well, honestly, Lou, I think because of the love that I have for Marilyn, I would have to say "Mercy Me."
And I heard that in that song.
This woman came into my life, and I was dumbfounded.
Right.
It was like being struck by lightning. I know we talk about this through our life, and most of us roll our eyes.
Yeah.
And we hear about love at first sight and all those things.
Yep.
Well, man, it was much, much later in life and a lot of years of stuff. But it happened. It truly has happened. And Mercy Me has to be, hands down, to me personally, one of my favorites of my own. If I'm going to say one of my own is mine. But you asked the question, so there you go. So I dedicate Mercy Me to Marilyn all the way.
In essence, you're considered somebody who has achieved success in an industry where so many have failed at, and that magnitude on a personal level. What advice would you give to somebody who is just starting out?
Man, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If they wind up in situations that where people are trying, where they are truly giving their heart to something, stick around and throw your part in too. Don't give up.
Yeah.
If you've got 2 or 3 guys or 2 or 3 girls trying to work on a project in a little band or something, then you give 110.
Yep.
If they're giving 110, you give 120. Don't give up, man. It's called, it's perseverance.
Yes.
Perseverance.
Exactly.
Man, the group Alabama, and I'm going to bring this up myself because I am in total awe. Those guys, a lot of people don't know this, but those 3, Randy, Teddy, and Jeff, they were together 9 years before I came to the band.
Wow. And they were hustling.
And I came to the band at the age of 17.
Oh, wow, you were that young.
And then they've still gone on to have a 40-year career.
Man.
So if we want to talk perseverance,
they've
buddy,
got it. Yeah.
you cannot have a better example than that.
And you, look at you. I mean, you're 56.
Yeah, me too.
You're 56.
I'm still breathing, man. I'm still kicking and knocking some doors down, and that's what this is all about.
Not only kicking, you are releasing an album that, in your genre, is really, I believe, will really storm the scene, because this was a listening pleasure. And for the people who don't know, we did do a show. You just go into the shows tab, and you can go right down to the exclusive Rick Scott release of the album Hot Burning Coals.
And they can reach us, Lou, at 515 Records, 515records.com, and get all the info they want.
Exactly. And you know, how do you feel about, I mean, in the event, let's say a major label wants to take you on with this, are you for that?
Well, a lot of those guys are my friends. I mean, so I've worked with a lot of them already. It wouldn't be new to me.
Right.
I understand what it takes on the artist side, truly, and man, that's not an easy job.
Right.
I mean, my hat is off to them if I wore one. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But man, I'll tell you what I feel. Let me just say what I feel, honestly. I hope, and I secretly wish, I'll let you know a little secret of mine. I secretly wish that this album would do gangbusters, not for me, gangbusters for the industry, and bring back the country music industry to what it used to be.
Exactly.
And that's what I am hoping and praying for, is that even if it's not me, that somebody will come along and fill the shoes of the guys who were dropping like rocks.
Yeah.
Because those guys have earned a real credit from me.
Yeah. Not only from you, but from everybody, all the fans. You know, like
I mean,
you said,
a lot of these guys are out there touring all over the country, and they have no clue as to how they got there.
You know, and they're not only
and guys like Johnny Cash and David Allan Coe and Hank Jr. and those guys, Merle Haggard.
Yep.
I mean, the list goes on. Waylon and all of them. Man, I mean, we owe a debt of gratitude to these these guys. And, I mean, it's not going to be long. They're all gone, man, and nobody is filling their shoes. They're just not.
You know, and
thank God for the internet and independent radio and independent artists.
Exactly. That's our connections
it's here.
That's what we do here on Fat Cat Radio. We connect with indie artists, local musicians, and we help them. You know, we help them out. And you're 100% right on that. You know, internet radio is the future of radio. I mean, you can listen to us anywhere. You know, we have free apps, and it's just crazy. But I do have to say though, you know, with your history and, you know, with everything that you're saying about, you know, they're dropping like flies, I think that this approach that you are taking may influence a good old school music bring back to today. And in my eyes, that's something that would be great. I mean, I know my whole life I was, you know, going to see the old bands. You know, they come to I live in Connecticut. We had the New Haven Coliseum. You know, we have Mohegan Sun. We have the Hartford. They always change the name of it. I don't know, but you know, and I've always been going.
Hey, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Did I lose you, Lou?
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. You know,
yeah, I lost you for a sec.
Oh, okay. Now, I was saying was, you know, you're bringing it back, and bringing it back is a tough feat. Like you said, in an industry where people are dropping like flies. So it looks like I'm going to give this a second here. Rick Scott's line dropped. To talk a little bit about what's going on, guys, don't forget, Friday night, 8 p.m., on the Rick Scott Group. There's going to be a live album drop, and it's going to be a live Q&A. And with all this and everything that's going on, him releasing this album, him dropping the album, it's going to be a good time there. So I am going to actually, I think I'm going to drop this this interview. I don't know what happened here. I'm going to drop this interview for a moment, and we're going to figure out what's going on. Hopefully he calls back in. And let me just give him a second. I'm going to just play a commercial real quick, and we'll be on our way here. I'm Big Lou, and you're listening to From the Source.
Big Lou, we got a call about a disturbance.
What seems to be the problem, Rox?
It's a cat.
Do we have a description?
Fat.
I'm at the scene. I don't see him anywhere. Oh, I got him. Fat Cat Radio. Talk, music, raising the bar, one note at a time.
All right, we're back, and we have Rick Scott back on the line. That was our original intro for Fat Cat Radio, and now that he's back, we can we can continue this. I don't know what happened on my end.
That's a nice intro too, Lou.
Oh yeah, thank you. I most of them I do myself, but I did pay a couple people to do a couple of drops for me. So,
oh, you actually spent money on those?
Yes. Not all of them, just two of them. But the rest.
Did you get any change?
No change. Oh,
okay.
With what? The quality?
I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
kidding.
All right. Well, quality of our radio has changed. We're getting more quality listeners than people passing by.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Right now we're averaging 100 listening hours a day, so that's pretty decent.
Wow.
And
wow, that's wonderful.
It is, and it's a blessing. I'll give you that. It's a blessing.
Cool.
So let's get back to your music. Let's get back to you here. Let's go a different direction here. You just were asked to make an album. It's your turn. It's your time.
Yeah.
You just spent all this time doing it, and you have both ends of the industry for experience. So I can imagine it kind of went smooth, but I could see that maybe you. I could inquire that maybe there was a little bit of problems, obviously. But let me ask you, in dropping this album, what have you learned? What do you think that more you could do more of in the future to keep this album steady going?
Guys like you, people like you, man.
Yeah,
that's what's going to keep this album alive and keep it breathing. I mean, if you put it in in your playlist and in some rotation. That's what keeps it alive. I mean, I need a bunch of you, Lou. Any guys like you?
You were talking about you and Marilyn really enjoying this new endeavor. Now,
we're loving it, man.
How do you feel about the balance between music and life with you right now? I mean, do you think there's a good balance there, family and then music?
Here's where that's at, man. I raised my 3 children on music. And I was never out of music. I was always working, and it was always pertaining to music. So it's like breathing. Music is, when I say it's my life, I'm not talking about like for the last 5 years. I'm talking about since I was born.
Right.
So it's all I know. I mean, I'd be scared to death if if that was ever out of my life. I'm not capable of doing anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, music is all I know.
That's
as far as me and Marilyn, does this change our lives personally and then professionally? Absolutely not, because it's what we are. It is exactly who we are, and I think Lou, that's kind of the little magic thing that's happening here.
Yeah,
I think people are feeling what me and Marilyn feel for each other personally.
Yeah,
and what we feel for music. What we feel for the friendships that we are building through this music, man. It has just been unbelievable, the people that we are meeting and the friendships that we are building.
Now, how is it having a significant other here that truly supports you and is right by your side 100%? How does that make you feel?
Oh, wow. To have your wife be literally your partner in a business, I think you kind of know a little bit about that, Lou.
Absolutely.
I think it keeps us alive, man. It keeps a spirit going that is not only good personally, but professionally also. I mean, we wake up every day smiling, man. I mean, we are blessed blessed to have one another, and we both know it. There is no taking one for granted. It's like if you start a business with another person, you don't take them for granted, man. You need them. It's team. And marriage is also a team. I mean,
absolutely.
It just is.
Yeah, you're so right.
It's teamwork. And me and Mary, I mean, we do every dish together. We make the bed together. We do the laundry together. We do what we call, and this is crazy what we call it. It's just crazy. But listen, this term, are you listening, Lou?
I'm listening.
We call it teamwork. Isn't that nuts?
Yes, it is. I wouldn't know about that in my household. But
keep it simple, stupid, huh?
Yeah, right. And it is simple. And I have a feeling that, if I were to ask you your definition of home, that this would be right down the alley of what your definition of home is love.
Home is anywhere Marilyn is.
Exactly.
That's where home is.
I'm sure you have some close personal friends that you've been going with for years here.
People don't like to hang out with me much, Lou. I'm pretty boring.
Well, let me ask you.
And to be honest, when you get up into my age bracket, what starts happening is your best friends start dropping.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I know
So,
exactly what you mean.
Really, I'm going to start picking younger friends.
Yeah. Let me ask, if I were to just let's say you throughout the years your 5 closest friends or so, and if I were to sit down with them and ask them a question, and I asked them what they appreciate about you the most, what do you think their answer would be?
Wow, that's a hell of a question.
Well,
I've never been asked that, man.
Of course.
That's brilliant, Lou.
Thank
that
you.
is brilliant.
Thank you, sir.
You have stumped the band. What would they answer in one word?
Yeah, one word. What would if I asked them, sat them all together and went one by one.
Okay.
What do you think?
If you asked 5 of my friends,
what do you think the general answer would be?
What is one word to describe Rick to you?
Exactly.
That I believe, and I would hope would be real.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. Parts of the course with this interview, part of the course with your album, and I definitely can take that and chew on that as well, because that's a good statement. Being real is a tough thing. I mean, there's a fine line between image and whether people like you for the real you. Some people are afraid that they'll like you for the real you, so they put on an image. And I have a feeling that throughout the years you were the real you. And that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, that's true. And I've left some pretty gravy jobs because I am real, and there were things that were going on politically that I should have been involved in, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That could have bumped my life a little bit, and I might have had a new boat that year. I don't know. But you give up to get.
Yes.
And I have all my life I have given up to get.
Yep.
And that's the secret to me in life. And believe me, after 56 years on this beautiful spinning earth, I can say this, that every time that I've given up to get, I always received more.
Yeah.
In the long run. It was always the best decision.
That makes you real. That makes you real. Let me ask
I wouldn't change a thing, man. I would not change one thing.
So if you can go back in time, you would not change nothing.
No.
That's cool.
No. I've been asked that question before on interviews, and there was one answer that I gave here a while back, and I think that it does hold true, and it still does in my life. If I could change anything at all, it would be probably to keep my mouth shut a little more, my ears open wider around the people that I was privileged privilege to be in their presence
Yeah.
and understand what it is, the gifts that I was given through them at the time. If I could have understood it at the time. See, hindsight, as we all know, 2020.
Yes, it is.
I was a little blind, but I can also say for myself, I was 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And are we not all a little blind at that age?
Yes, you are, and,
So-
and I've been in that age. I was in a band, and I was in the band for 9 years, and we did a lot of gigging.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know what it's like
And
to
I'm
have
sure
that.
you were around a lot of influential people, you know.
Yeah, and it changes
That
your.
you should have
if you're
paid attention to,
capable,
maybe.
yeah, if you're capable of change, then it's going to happen. And like they
Yeah.
say, the only thing constant is change. You know, you got a hell of a
That's
history.
right. That's exactly right.
You have a hell of a history. In your view, in your whole history in music and life itself, personal and or music, what would you say the most important day of your life was?
Oh my God. I am not just saying this. This truly is coming from my heart, man. I swear to you, coming from my heart. And I've had a lot of wonderful moments in my life happen where I was just forward. You know, I picked up awards, all the accolades, all of this,
Yeah.
all of that, and limelights and spotlights and any kind of traffic lights you want to mention, I've been at. It had to be discovering true love.
And that changes every part
Above all.
of you. That changes every part of
Above all.
you. Yeah. True love
Having
changes
God in
everything.
my life and a person in my life who truly loves me and supports everything that I'm trying to do. And then even when I'm not trying, they are. So, I mean,
Yeah.
what are you going to do with that?
It changes your
You better
life.
get your ass out of bed.
Yeah. It definitely changes
I don't
your
want to
life.
miss the dance, so to speak.
There's a
And brother, we are dancing. Believe me, we are dancing on cloud 9.
there's an old saying that, you know, I could see that the you that was before you met Marilyn and the you were after were two different people. So
That's unbelievable, man. I'm glad.
They-
I'm so glad that you feel that through a telephone line.
but they used to say in the 90s that, you know, people never had a problem until they stood up face to face with themselves. And, you know,
Right.
and when you meet love, that person you see after that moment is a whole different person. And it doesn't matter of all the leaves that were taken off your tree as you go through life, because now whoever drops out of your life, whoever comes into your life, you have complete support. And that in
Exactly.
itself is something just incredible. I know what that's like too. I mean, when I met my wife,
I love that. I love that for you, Lou. I really do, and I wish that for everybody. Matter of fact, in some of the songs that I've written here recently, it speaks to that, man. It speaks to. I
Yeah.
hope that others can find what I never thought I would.
yeah, there's
I mean, it's just it's unbelievable, man.
there's really nothing better, man.
If I drop over today, man, believe me, Lou, you can announce it to the world. I died a happy camper.
And that's a good thing. So success in life and love and music has really
Yeah.
has really changed a man, and you know that makes a big difference too, because
It's knocking me out, man.
when you
I am blown away by all this, all the wonderful people that are coming into our lives, and the comments that we are getting, man, is unbelievable. And people like
Yeah.
yourself who've taken an interest and are getting this thing out there and just, you know, spanking it all the way out the door, man. I love it.
Yeah. You know, there's nothing better than having the support right now, especially in your new endeavor.
Well, you guys definitely have our support anytime
thank
that,
you.
you want us to do anything, man. You just holler at us. And,
I appreciate that
Marilyn
very
and I
much.
will certainly be there for you.
You've been a lot
And
of places. Yeah, and having your support means a lot, especially to a guy who's
Thank
been
you.
in so many places in the United States, and I'm sure other places. You've been through it all. I mean, you've had your ups, you've had your downs, you've had your.
Well, I've got some hair curling tails, man,
Yeah.
if we ever want to go there one day. Not today.
Yeah.
Today's a happy day, brother.
So let me ask you, you know, blink your eyes and go somewhere special. Where would you go if you just blinked your eyes and got there? Where would it be?
Oh my God. Wow, man, you have some interesting questions.
Yeah, wait till I get to my final question.
Have you ever asked yourself these questions, Lou?
Absolutely. Where do you think these questions came from?
Okay. If I closed my eyes and it took me somewhere, where would I be?
Yeah.
Is that pretty much it in a nutshell?
Yeah, just nutshell. You know, where would you want to be?
I truly think that I would be in a room surrounded by my children, the love of my life, and my grandbabies. I think that would be like the ultimate, where they were all in one spot at one time.
That's
because they're spread all over the place, like everybody's families these days, man.
You know, that answer goes back to your definition of home. What means the most to you?
Yeah, it's all about home.
And you know what?
That is home.
You are balancing
it is
music.
Home, no matter where you are, and as long as they're in your mind and in your heart, man, you are home. And
right.
You know, so.
Rick, you are balancing music and life right now. And music has two different ends to it. It has the business end, and then it has the actual being a musician end.
And I seriously want to stress the point to the younger folks out there just driving into this music business. Buckle up. You know,
it's going to be a hell of a ride.
Get some thick skin. Don't let it all get personal on you. You know, don't take the World Series out there. And believe in what you're doing, and you hang in there, till hell freezes over. Here I am, buddy, at 56 years old, and a door has just flung wide open. So I don't want.
It's a whole new door too. The good thing, Rick, is there's a road in life. And if you take the road where the light is throughout the entire life, it's lit for you,
right.
And you have the option to make the choices. If you take that other,
exactly.
If you take that other road, sometimes those choices make you. And
I am not going to go around saying my mommy didn't hug me enough.
Yeah.
You know, when I turned 18, I mean, I'd already been out of the home 4 years when I turned 18.
Wow. Man.
You know, I mean, so think about that a moment. I don't want to hear about hardships. Unless you write about it or something, you know, write it. If you're feeling something, write it. Don't complain about it, write it.
Yeah.
And get it out of your system and move on, man, move on. We're already working on the next album, man.
Yeah, talk about that. I mean, are you going back into the studio?
I can't stop writing.
Yeah.
All of this has been, the people, the interest has been so encouraging, and I have just been so uplifted, me and Marilyn both. I can't sleep at night, man. It's like it's a drug. It's a drug.
Yep.
I mean, it really is our drug. I mean, we are as high as you want to get right now. If you drug tested us, you know, I mean, you come back positive for music.
Yeah. You know, I lay in bed at night, and if I have something on my mind that's just obsessing, like whether it's a guitar riff or
that's the old musician in you.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, absolutely. I have to get up.
I don't dream about drums no more. I just don't. But I love them.
I get up.
I respect drummers.
Rick, I get up. I go in my studio in the back room here, and I enjoy my.
Oh, you lucky dog!
Yeah, I have a beautiful BC Rich model as bitch.
Okay, I'm coming up there. We'll come up to your place and do the new album.
There you go. It's not. I'm not sure about. I mean, I could record music here, but I'm not sure it'd be the quality that you're looking for, buddy.
We don't. Hey, we don't. Just get it on tape or whatever it is. What do you guys do?
What I would love is if you can come up here.
We don't even use tape anymore. You see where I'm at?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, what we would love if you're ever in the area to stop here and maybe play a couple songs live. That would be wonderful.
Oh, my God, man, that is like the coolest thing. We love that.
Yeah.
All you got to do is book me a night for $50, and I'll be there.
Jeez, you're that cheap, man? That's cheap, man.
I'm cheap.
I might book you. Cheap. I might book you for a weekend.
Oh, a whole weekend? Like $100?
So the nitty gritty here.
Can your wife cook? Mine can.
No, I'm a retired chef. I was a chef for 10 years.
Retired chef.
Yes. Well, I retired because I was in a car
Hey,
accident.
forget the $50. We'll be there.
I was in a car accident, and my life was ruined by a 17-year-old who had his license for 8 days. He blew
no.
blew a red light, ruined my career.
Oh, no.
So now I do this. It's been a rough road with rehabilitation.
Look where it's led you, man.
Yeah,
look where it's led you.
Absolutely. And
it's cool.
What I live by for me is striving day to day. Take it this day, but don't forget that today is made up from the day after tomorrow is made up from pieces of today. And you can't forget these things. You got to set yourself up. You got to make sure that things are done that are most important. And I live by that motto. That
right.
One thing
That's
at a
cool.
time. But don't forget, it has influence on your days to come. What's your
Exactly.
motto? What's your motto, man? What advice do you live by?
Man, everything we do influences all the people around us.
Yeah.
Anybody that we're in contact with our actions, man, we have to be responsible for.
Absolutely, and there's a huge industry behind you of this type of music. Like, it is flailing out, but you know what? You're bringing back the old school, and that's huge.
Man, and I love it. I'm friends with Jim Lauderdale, who's one of the biggest Americana artists out there.
Mm-hmm.
I just received an award this past November for the Johnny Cash album, top Americana album, because my song was on there, and Jim Lauderdale was the presenter at the CSAC Awards there in Nashville. And it was so cool to see Jim again and to be around some of the old friends. But I've seen CSAC itself, which is, Performing Rights Organization, I've seen that organization just grow leaps and bounds because of the independents.
Yeah, independent people are really...
they have a lot of people there at CSAC. Bob Dylan, they've got huge writers there, Mariah Carey and all this stuff.
Jeez.
But, man, I think they owe a lot of their success to the independent artists, man, and the writers. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah. There's a lot in this. The independent industry, and I'll call it an industry because it's made up of a lot of people putting a lot of effort.
I'm all for it, man.
Definitely.
I've been in the mainstream, and I'm in the other.
So here we go.
I was swimming in the independents when I was young, and swam straight into the mainstream. And stayed in that pool. Stayed in that pool for a lot of years, man. And then got sucked down the drain, and here I am with you guys.
I don't presume any negative exposure with this deal.
Absolutely not.
And
you know that, man.
In my
eyes,
I love
where I'm at.
In my eyes, you're a tree.
You were talking about a label approaching me or something like that, Major.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I'd do. I got a sneaky feeling, man. I'd probably turn them down.
And you're staying true to you, man. You're being real.
Yeah, that's true.
And you know what, Rick? You're
But I think anybody that gets our age, man. I think I don't know how old you are, Lou, but I'm in my 50s.
I'm almost
40.
But
anybody that gets my age, you're setting your ways no matter what comes down the pike and offers you anything. You are going to have an opinion by this time in your life,
right?
And you are going to express it. So there it is.
Your tree, Rick. Your tree is full of leaves, man. Right now, you got all these great things.
You are absolutely right. I've got to agree with you on that, brother.
And I'm glad.
I can't be happier, man. I am so blessed. God has blessed my life with all kinds of just way too cool things.
It really has.
I'm blown away by it. Blown away.
All right, so Rick, let's get back
and all
to
because I listened to T-Rex when I was 12.
Hey,
and that got me.
I got
Bang a gong, did it on, buddy.
I was listening to when I was a little kid, man. I was listening to Bruce Springsteen. I went to see a concert at Giant Stadium in 1987.
That's because you're from up there, man.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, I was at Giant Stadium seeing the Boss on stage, man, with thousands of people.
Oh, you can't beat the Boss, man.
Oh man, it was something else. That was my first concert. I've been to tons.
I love it.
All different kinds.
My first concert was Mountain with Leslie West, Corky Lang on drums, doing Mississippi Queen.
Nice. Mountain's another great band in history here.
Hey, can I tell you a little something, man? I was at that concert, now that you brought it up. I was at that concert. I was about 13 years old, and I was standing. It's the first concert I'd ever gone to, this big rock concert in Dayton, Ohio, at the Dayton Hara Arena. And I was standing in the audience of a sea of people. myself then?
What'd you tell
I
yourself?
was looking up at that stage, and I said, I will never in my life ever go to another concert. And I was having a great time.
Yeah.
Great time. I will never in my life go to another concert unless I'm on the stage.
Oh.
And that's exactly what I told myself, and I want you to know that dream came true, man.
You would say that thought influenced you the most in your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I was standing in an audience listening to Mississippi Queen live.
And
I said to myself, I'm never going to buy another concert ticket. And you know what? To this day, I have never bought another concert ticket. Not because I thought I was getting screwed by buying that one. It actually saved my life.
Helped you get to where you are today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So those little dreams that we have and those little faraway things that we think about when we are children, maybe it's not a dream, man. Maybe they're more real than we like to give them credit.
But speaking of dreams, though, Rick, there's people who set their dreams reachable. And then there's people who set far dreams and don't set reachable dreams. And I think having that faraway dream and reachable dreams in between will really help you get to that far dream. And right now...
Absolutely. And you've got to have a focal point, man, and get you out of bed.
Right. And right now, I could see that you have a certain dream with putting out this new album, what you want for it to do for the industry, what you want it to do for people.
Absolutely, and man. I am not going to make any bones about it. I have a dream for this album. I truly do. Marilyn and I both prayed on this album, and I don't want to get all googly on you, but this album, I'll be honest with you, man, is full of love.
It is.
It's just full of love.
Every single track. I'm
going to have to agree with you, man. I used to be able to stand there and say, oh, no, come on now. But I'm going to be honest. I am 56, and I'm going to say, man, I've got to agree with you. Every single track. I got to tell you about Floyd. Floyd Eugene Jones.
Yeah. That
was no longer with us.
Oh, okay.
Floyd is my lovely Marilyn's father.
Oh, okay.
I never met the man.
Oh. But
all the stories she's told me about Floyd,
you know the man.
Sounded a whole hell of a lot like my daddy Charlie.
Huh. You
Charlie's
feel like you
not
know
with
him.
us either. So I wrote that song about Floyd and Charlie. Huh. So we are so proud to have that song make it onto this project, man.
And it's a beautiful song. And as you
thank you.
In the actual showcase, I had said after that, boy, this Floyd Eugene Jones guy.
Floyd will touch you now.
I wanted to.
You.
I said
one way or another.
I said I would love to meet this guy. And knowing
you
that
want
he's
to meet him, don't you?
Yeah,
you want to know this guy.
And now that
right.
now that I know he's passed, I understand the song now better.
Yeah,
and knowing that,
I write a lot of songs about people, man. People I've had in my life, and people who are gone from my life, and
dude, they make the best
a lot of ballads and stuff.
Yeah, they make the best. They make the best lyrics doing it that way.
And most country music was originally about the working man.
Yep.
And I certainly understand what that is. I grew up poor, and there was 8 of us children. We lived in an old shack, and our bathroom was outside, and our bathtub was outside. We had to go to the well to get the water. We had to heat the water to take a bath outside before school.
It's funny
so I know a little bit. I am not complaining by any means. I'd do it all again. But I know a little bit about hardship.
Yeah.
So, when I sit down to write something, man, it is definitely coming from the heart. It's not just something that I'm hoping I can think up.
Yeah, and in case
it's not about somebody's belly button or a truck or
or they're losing their woman and
watering hole.
Yeah, no, this is a whole different thing.
By the way, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm proud to say.
Oh, good for you! I am a recovering drug addict myself.
Good for you.
On June 13th, I'll have 2 years clean. So
Man,
I know
how about that?
I know what it's like to
How
be in
about
those
that?
shoes. Yeah.
Man, I battled alcohol all my life.
Yeah.
My family battled alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it was in the system, man.
Yeah.
But,
I'm in the painkiller category. I had a huge problem
Yeah,
with painkillers.
yeah, a lot of people are, man.
Yeah.
Let's get them on board. And
So, yeah.
like I said earlier, man, you could drug test me right now. It's going to come back musical notes. I swear to God.
So let's wrap. We're going to get to the end here. I want to ask before we go. I have one more question for you, but before I get to my
Yes, sir.
final question, I want to talk about
Final question.
Yeah, well, no, we're not going to get to that yet. First, I want to talk about, again, where people can get your new album, and talk about what's going on Friday again. So where can people get your new album?
Lou, I'm going to kiss you right in the mouth when I meet you, man. This is wonderful. You asking that question, because I love nothing more than to brag about where people can go to pick up a copy of the new album. And that is www.515records.com. And we are on Reverb Nation. Just check out Rick Scott on Reverb Nation. We're all over Facebook, or you can actually call me, man, and I'll send you one. I mean, me and Meryl will make sure you get a copy.
There's
So
also...
we're all over the net, man. There's no way to miss us. We're on Twitter. We're on everything.
I Googled you. Trust me, man. You're all over the place.
You Googled me. You came up with the governor of Florida. You didn't come up with me.
You're right, but when I put Rick Scott...
But don't hold any of that against me. Don't get me all slip-slidey into that.
Well, you're right. I did get a governor, and when I changed it to Rick Scott musician, it changed the whole directory.
Now there's about 5 of those guys too, and some of them are pretty good.
Yeah,
One Rick Scott writes children's songs and stuff, and he's pretty darn good, man. I've actually talked to him, and I said, "Hey, man, you want to lay off the internet? I'm trying to do it."
It's funny.
Who do you think you are? Anywho,
it's funny that you mentioned that. Now, for me, I'm Big Lou, and I hashtag my name.
I bet you get a lot.
And there's
Lou Ferrigno and everything else.
No, it's true. But you know what? In this industry now, I have marked my name so powerful that all the Big Lou's in the world don't hold to my Big Lou now. Now, if you Google hashtag Big Lou on...
But see, I know a lot about copyright law, so I think I'm going to trademark my name.
There you go.
And anytime anybody says Rick or Scott, I get a royalty or something.
If you Google my name...
So watch what you're saying.
Yeah. If you Google my name right now, Rick, hashtag Big Lou, I am 8 out of the top 10 Google listings.
I love it, man. Your placement is great. What'd you pay for that?
It's fucking wonderful, man. I'm so happy. But listen, we talked about this, and I want to make sure that people understand that this album will touch you in ways that nobody...
Hot burning coals, baby.
And speaking of hot burning coals,
on 515 Records.
That actual track, 25% of that track goes to what? Burying Children, you said?
Children's Burial Fund.
Children's Burial Fund.
I think it's childrensburialfund.org or something like that. I have a link to their website on my website.
Yeah.
And that is, man, it's a wonderful thing that they are doing.
Yeah.
And, like I said, there's a lot of charities out there, Lou, that a lot of people are helping and working with. And me and Marilyn sat down and we talked, and the song itself is speaking to, those that have gone before us, man.
Right.
And if I could have 1 minute with you, I would lay my body down on a railroad track,
Yep.
Anything I had to do to have another minute with you. So we thought what would be cool, and we actually just Googled. We did. Marilyn just Googled some kind of a children's fund for burial. And that's what we came up with, and we contacted them, and we have joined forces. And like I said, they're doing PSAs right now, public service announcements, with the song in the background, and that blew me away too, man. How cool.
It's something else, and it's a superior tragedy when a child leaves before his parent. And
oh man, I couldn't imagine. I could not even imagine losing a child.
My son's a teenager now, and if I lost him, that would just destroy me.
Oh man, I've helped raise 3 children, and I have grandchildren, and I just could not even fathom I would drop to my knees and just remain there for the rest of my days.
Right.
Which would probably be one.
There's no bigger tragedy than this, and Hot
My
Burning
heart
Coals.
goes out to all these parents.
Hot Burning Coals goes out and takes 25% to help people in
Yes.
the event that this happens.
Yeah, 25% overall sales.
That is just amazing, and you're really helping families around the world, I bet, with this. So let's get this album out there. And we're going to, you got your release party Friday night on the Rick Scott group on
yes,
Facebook.
we do, man. That's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of people joining the group and joining us on Friday night.
I will be
once
there as
again,
well.
That's going to be a blast. We want everybody to join us, and we're going to try to get to all of you, man. And we're also doing a live thing, a Skype thing, and we'll talk about all that too.
Right. Yes. So, you know what, Rick? It's the perfect time right now to ask you my final question.
Final question.
And this final question is the final question to the show From the Source. I ask everyone this question.
I'm ready for you. Do I hit a ding thing or something? Come in first.
Let's. You know what? And a lot of people are like, "Oh, final question. Jesus, what is this, Jeopardy?" But but no.
Put it on me, Howard.
I found that this question, I get an array of answers, whether it's whether they focus on the music portion of their life or the personal portion of their life or the spiritual portion of their life. I always get different answers. But here I go. What kind of mark are you trying to make on the face of today?
Wow. Well, I just want to leave an impression of some sort that has to do with love, beauty, compassion. And if I can do that, then every day, every minute of my life was worth it.
Absolutely. Period. There's, what? That's beautiful, Rick. And that holds true. You have been consistent about your feelings towards life, music, and family throughout the whole thing. And no matter which way I attacked it, you stayed true to that. You are real. And having you here on From the Source, you're welcome, has made an impression on me as well. Especially with your music.
That means a lot to me, man. It truly does. That means the world.
Thanks, Rick. So, Rick,
let's do this thing, man.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
let's follow the yellow brick road.
So hang on the line for a moment, and thank you again for coming out. But just hang on the line for a moment.
Hey, thank you, and thank all your listeners, man. I appreciate them tuning in. I really do.
Thank you.
And all of them are more than welcome to join me and Marilyn on this journey that we are on, and it's just a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, and
Let's
it is.
clasp hands and have fun.
And help people along the way. So
absolutely, man. I'm all about education. All about it.
And the children's burial thing. So thank you, Rick. Again, I appreciate everything. Everybody,
thank you, Lou.
You're welcome. Everybody, you have heard everything. All about Mr. Rick Scott, his past, his present, what he plans on in the future, his moral high ground when it comes to life, comes to family, and comes to his music history and his music today. You have just heard everything you need to know about Rick Scott from The Source. I'm Big Lou. Have a great night.